Let's begin with Sangam age. Emphasis shifts to south part of India. Emphasis shifts to south part of India. Before this, you studied in Mauryan Empire. Mauryan Empire was full India, pan India. As time passed, Mauryan Empire became smaller and multiple reasons not mentioned in the syllabus last time which we studied, but just to revise, leaders after Ashoka were not so capable to hold a full empire. Plus, Ashoka himself had given away the sorry, basically the war or conquest of fighting. So he never used to go on a war so much as compared to what a ruler should have been or what his capabilities were. Empire he became peaceful after the Kalinga War. Empire became smaller and go ahead a little in timeline. We get three new empires in the south. Confirm? Go ahead little in the timeline. We get three new empires in the south. The Cheras, the Pandyas, and the Cholas. Confirm? The Sangam age is considered as a history of the South India. Why are we learning about this and why is it called as the Sangam age? Is because during this period, a bulk of Tamil literature was written. The South Indian literature which we have is written during this era of kingdoms by scholars and poets, and it was written by successive gatherings. They used to meet as an event and basically get this done. Hence, it is called as the Sangam age. Please underline those keywords for reference. Tamil literature was written by scholars and poets in harmony, circling the word, three successive literary gatherings. यहाँ पर वो लोग what when they used to meet, what they used to do, they used to write the Tamil. Three gatherings had happened. What was the era or what was the time period? First century BC to second century AD. First century BC to second century AD. How many years? Only approximately 300 years. Where they met? Pandya kingdom. Confirm? Please bracket that also for reference. Sure? So it's not that one of the saints met or one of the poets met or one of them met. Over 300 years, this Tamil literature was written in three successive literary gatherings. Literary matlab aim was to write. The word Sanskrit Sangam comes from this Tamil word. The word Sangam is Tamil form of the Sanskrit word which means an association or an assembly. It refers to the gatherings of the poets, bards, and everyone which were a part of the literary academy who came in which empire? They came in the Sangam age, which empire? That was the Pandya kings. Please mark those who all came. And what does it mean? We mark this for MCQ also. Once again, the word Sangam means Tamil word in Sanskrit means association. Pandya kings used to call them the poet, bards, literary writers, please come compose the bulk of South Indian Tamil literature. Confirm? How many meetings happened? 3 meetings. Perfect. The first meeting Mark, it was who was there in this first meeting? It is said gods and legendary sages attended this meeting, but unfortunately, all the works of this meeting perished. Nothing is left, but it perished. So Kabir is saying they were not true gods. Kabir is saying they were fake gods. Second was attended by several poets. Large mass of literature was written, but only one book survived from this meeting also, which is called as the Tolka PM by Tolka Pierre. Tolka PM by the Tolka Pierre, the oldest book of Tamil grammar. Oldest book of Tamil grammar. Confirm. So first meeting, God came, gods and sages, everything perished. Second meeting, sages came, several poets came. Sages came, several poets came, enough, but only one book survived, told. Exact reference is given, but not in our syllabus. The third meeting was attended by many poets. Vast literature of which now only a fraction has survived. Please mark only a fraction. This is an N. Has survived. Historically, what we study today is having existed from the Sangam literature of the third one. Whatever we study today of the South Indian literature or for South Indian this is of the third. Name the kingdoms which we are going to study about. Cheras, Pandyas and Cholas. Capitals, Vanji, Urayur and Madurai. According to description, out of these three, who finally won? Chera was the supreme of the other two kingdoms. Please bracket what I'm bracketing, as I said before. Let's see the first book, that is the Tirukural. The first book, which is called as the Tirukural. It is written by Tiruvaruval. It is written by the Tiruvaruval. It is one of the most celebrated works of 18 minor works put together, called as the Patini Kilka Naku. Please learn this, can come for MCQ. Yes. The 18 books together, put together, is called as the Patinik Kilka Naku. This was of the Sangam literature written by Tiruvaruvar. He was a Tamil poet and the philosopher. Spelling again important for MCQ. Book name important for MCQ. So what are we studying about? The book we are studying about is called as the Tirukural. It has 18 parts put together, written by Tiruvaruvar. Tirukural is also called as Kural. But we have to write Tirukural. It has teachings of three main aspects: Dharma Shastra, Arthashastra, and Kama Sutra. Please bracket that. Three main subjects bolo ya three main parts of life. Confirm. Dharma Shastra speaks about your duties. Arthashastra speaks about your life and politics and basically working. How do you? Yes, Arthashastra. Yes, the Chanakya one. And Kama Sutra speaks about your house life. Basically, how you should have a house, wife, children, how you should be upbringing, so on and so forth. Basically, one speaks about outside life, that is earning money is an important aspect. One is an inside life, that is your family, that is how you should raise a family also, right? It is a collection of couplets into 133 chapters. Chota chota chapter. Tirukural has how many? 133 chapters. All this has come in MCQ. Please mark MCQ. How many chapters? 133. Each chapter has a specific subject teaching you. It starts from basically plowing a smallest piece of land to ruling a country. It teaches you simplicity and truth. Yes, yes, yes. What? Are you feeling cold or hot? Are you feeling cold or hot? So get up and don't change anything. Just put the beds up. The 133 chapters are grouped in further three sections. How you have your history book? History book has 20 chapters grouped in two sections: history and civics. Fine. 3 plus 2. The three sections which are there are Aram, that means righteousness. Be righteous in life. Don't be wrong. Don't earn your money through evil actions. Earn your money through actions. Oral means wealth, and Kama means pleasure. That means whatever you like, you should do, but it shouldn't hurt anybody. While Aram and Inbam discuss ethical life in private, Oral deals with public affairs which help you earn money. This is called as the Tirukural, written by Thiruvaruvar. 133 chapters grouped into three parts, three subparts, three sections. Everything hurts. Because the first Sangam didn't have anything. The second Sangam only had Tolka PM by Tolka Pierre, which is the grammar book of Sanskrit, which is the grammar book of Tamil. And the remaining are whatever available is from the third Sangam. Now, how do we actually know that there were these Sangams which happened? What proves that these Sangams happened? These are proved through megaliths. I forgot to tell you, please mark this. Tirukural short. Every year they've asked you whenever Sangam age comes, Tirukural, because you're learning only one of the books which are there. Please don't disturb the class flow. Megaliths, please mark short. Now, how do we say actually the Sangams were there, or the Sangam age happened, or the proof that there were Cholas, Cheras, and Pandyas? Many reasons. One of the proofs were the megaliths. How we have the Arthashastra source for Mauryan, how we have the Ashokan edicts and the pillars for Mauryan. Here we learn about megaliths. What are megaliths? Megaliths were box-like structures with erected stone slabs resting on each other without mortar. Mortar means cement. So they were non-cemented structures. This is a photo of the megalith. Non-cemented structures. What did it have? Please mark what did these have? These acted as burial sites. So these here were the bodies of the dead buried, or a commemorative memorial. While some megaliths can be seen on the surface, others were found underground because as time passed, they got buried. Yeah, they can ask. Yes, very good. They also served as signposts to find the burial so that people could return to the same place whenever they wanted. Today happens, right? Christianity, Islamic religion, you bury, right? And then you have a tombstone. Arnav, please keep your hand together. Riley, please keep your hand together. You have a tombstone. Why do you have a tombstone? So that you come to know that you're coming to the same person's visitation. ऐसा नहीं है कि you're going to someone else's this and offering prayer. So at that time, they were not tombstones, they were like megaliths. Confirm? And this megalith, today you have one person being buried at one tombstone or one area. At that time, here, some megaliths have more than one skeleton found. This indicates that the entire megalith belonged to the same full family, but although the burial must have happened at different time periods, it's not that everybody was buried together at the same time, different time periods. That's how that's what their procedure was, right? They are nothing but memorial stones. The megaliths inside, just like you must have studied the Egyptians' time, inside the pyramids, you had they used to keep gold, silver, everything, because the Egyptians used to believe in life after death. Here also, these megaliths not only contain skeletons, but also contain goods, pottery, iron, and so on. Basically, maybe a sign of life after death, which they must be believing in, or maybe a sign of giving, burying something with the person what he liked. These megaliths also give you a good information about number of agricultural tools which were found there, telling you that agriculture was more and hunting was less. They tell you that during this Sangam age, people were not, unlike the Vedic period, so these people were not nomads. They had settled down, agriculture was more, and hunting was a less activity. They give you information about advanced type of agriculture also, which these guys used to do. It gives you information from the grave goods and religious beliefs also what they used to follow. One example is basically, please mark the example important, the presence of trident in the graves show that they believed in Lord Shiva. Please mark this example important. Tridents was that, I don't know if you see, if you have the three, yeah, three faced spear. What? That means they used to believe in Lord Shiva. That's what people have. But it was a trident is a equipment. It is a weapon. Huh? Economy. Let's learn about Sangam age economy. Yeah, that's Trishul. Right. The economy at that time was, please mark the keywords, simple and self-sufficient. The people were industrious and believed in earning wealth. Well, do effort, do mehnat and earn your wealth. Sangam literature tells about both. There were wealthy people in the society as well as poor people. The wealthy included whom? The kings and so on. The poor people were whom? Farmers, casual laborers, wandering mistrals, basically wanderers. The division was accepted as a natural form of society. As they said, poverty was considered as a result of your past life. Basically, I'm king and you're farmer, I'm rich, you're poor. Because basically that as understanding between rich and poor was there, because they said you are poor because you must have done something wrong in your last life. That's why you are poor. Do something right in this life, so you become rich next time. But that was just an understanding. That was just a justification. Trade. Internal trade was there. They used to trade among themselves. They used to trade among outsiders. Internal trade was brisk. Caravans of merchants with carts, animals, and everything used to move from one place to another. Trade used to happen on the basis of barter. Please mark those keywords. There was no money at that time, there was barter. Please mark the established markets at that time. The market of that time was called as an angadi. The markets were called as angadis. Otherwise, there were hawkers also which used to go from house to house. Today also you have hawkers, na? Baji and all this sell from place to place. Either you go to the market called as angadi or they come to house hawkers. Paddy means rice, was a common medium of exchange. Paddy was sold in terms of salt, salt for paddy. Honey and roots were exchanged for fish oil. Examples, please mark examples. External trade, they used to trade from outside the India also. What were the trades which were in great demand from foreign markets? We used to trade pepper, ginger, cardamom, turmeric, ivory, pearls, and precious stones to outsiders. Yes. The main imports were horses, gold, and glass. Sorry. Please mark. We learn about 8 cities which were a part of the trade system. 8 of them. Their ports were the big centers which are there today also. Please mark the 8 cities which we are learning. Big ships entered the first port which I'm teaching you is called as Puhar. First port which we are learning is called as the Puhar. Puhar pe they came, brought precious merchandise from overseas. So please mark the first city, Puhar. Now they teach you about the ships. On the upper floor of the ships, the rich people and the families lived, while the lower was done for business. South India, Puhar. A city in South. I it'll come ahead. Second port which you are learning is Saliyur. Please mark these ports. They ask you in your school exam. Very important. Yes, yes. Ports. Short Jaguar car question. 100% they'll ask you ports. Huh? The third one they are asking is the Bandar in the Chera. These are all three cities. These are all three port cities. Today we have examples like Chennai, Bangalore, Vishakhapatnam. These are all modern day port cities. वो time पे the names of different places of different cities were examples are Puhar, Salur, Bandar. Puhar, precious merchandise. Salur in the Pandya. Bandar in the Cheras. Confirm? Close the bracket, please. One more short answer, 100%. You need to know this. One of the books, I'll show you the photo. It's not the original photo, but the photo is of this book called as the Periplus of the Red Sea. It's a book called as the Periplus of the Red Sea. Uska original name also was not Periplus of the Red Sea. It is a Roman book. The English translated version is the Periplus of the Red Sea. Gives us information that there was trade between India and the Roman Empire at that time. We used to trade with the great Roman Empire. But who was the king of the Roman Empire? One of the many kings. He was a dictator. So it's not at this time, but this is just an giving you reference. Before this, we are in 1 AD. He came far before. Far before, yes. He was the first. Continue naming the ports. 3 we named on top. Some more port cities which are mentioned in also in the Periplus of the Red Sea are Nora, Tiandis, Mozaris. Mozaris was one of the leading ports on the west coast. One of the leading ports on the west coast. Please mark those names. These were the names which were mentioned in the Periplus of the Red Sea. Please see this photo of the book. It's not the exact photo. South of India, before the North of India. Because South India, this is one of the books. This is not the original book. This is what is there on Amazon today. And this is how, which was there, which you asked. This is how we actually used to trade. Look here. Today, I don't know. Do you see the news? No, very good. Here, can you see this small area? दिख रहा है? इधर कुछ गड़बड़ चल रहा है. क्या चल रहा है? The Strait of Hormuz. So we used to trade through there. Strait of Hormuz, which is currently under the crucial scenario of war. Then here, have you seen this? This is the Suez Canal, which is owned by the Egypt. The Egypt had to fight for the Suez Canal. Once they fought, today that's why Egypt has survived. One of the many reasons, but they fought. They didn't make it. America used to control it, if I'm not wrong. They fought and said this is ours. And here, today you can see the war between Iran and America is because of the Strait of Hormuz. So using these paths since ancient times, we also used to trade with the Roman Empire. Otherwise, if you know the diagram, if you know your earth, otherwise for trade, you'll have to go all the way from below Africa and all the way turn around Africa, turn around Europe, turn around Cape of Good Hope, turn around Europe, and then go to America, Spain, Italy, Rome, Roman Empire. This is a shortcut. That's why today it's under war. That's one of the geographical reasons why they are holding that. Confirm, can I go ahead? So we used to use that. Continuing more places you want to learn, right? We learned 5. The Periplus also speaks about Urayur. Please mark Urayur, number 7. Urayur था ऊपर नहीं था Urayur. Urayur, one of the capital cities. Very good. What did Urayur trade? Pearls from the coast was sent to Urayur. It notes further that the great quantity of muslin cloth was also sent, which was got from the region of Andhra. They used to bring it to the port, and from here they used to sell it. Here is an example of muslin cloth. M nahi hai, N hai. This is white muslin cloth. So you mark, please mark 7 cities. Gold and silver, please mark gold and silver coins of the Roman Empire have been found in the internal of the Tamil, indicating we used to trade with them. Last part or second last part, agriculture. What we used to grow. Please mark the name of the main crops. Underline them. We used to grow rice, South India rice, very famous. Cotton, ragi, sugarcane, varieties of fruit. Financial status food was what? It included fish, meat, and tenai rice. Fish and meat, South India ka famous food today also. Yeah. Very good for the heart. Very good for the heart. If you eat fish, you don't get heart. Fish oil is fantastic. Athletes will eat a lot of fish. Chera was also known for its jackfruit, pepper and turmeric, whereas Chola was known for its paddy. Please bear with that. Yeah, that is a part of this one. That is a basically medicine. Yeah, if you don't have, you should eat natural source, which is the fish. The fish is oil is converted into tablets. Same. Many rural activities like ragi and sugarcane, making of sugar from cane and harvesting and drying of grain are described in the Sangam poem. Last part, other occupations. If you didn't want to do agriculture, you could do some additional occupations like spinning and weaving. Were why you second. Spinning and weaving were the most practiced. Spinning and weaving, perhaps also of silk, had reached high degree of perfection. They were part-time occupations of women, spinning. Urayur was a major center of cotton as well. The poets also speak about, please mark here, very important, a little of English poetry here. The poets mentioned cotton cloth as thin as the skin of a snake. We are comparing the cotton cloth of that time as thin as the skin of a snake, showing the level of perfection it had reached. Or a cloud of steam, so finely woven that the eye could not follow the course of the thread. Just like today, can you see your cloth? Can you find thread here? No, because this is machine made. This is machine made, right? At that time, machine basically they are saying even with the hand or with the basic machines, it was so nicely woven that you couldn't find the course of the thread. Scissors were well known to be used. Dyeing also was a widespread industry. Dyeing matlab coloring. Can you see what dyeing? This color, whatever you have on your t-shirt is color is called a dyeing. White is the normal dye, black, brown, so on is called a dyeing. Other activities were shipbuilding, metalworks, carpentry, rope, ornaments, tanning were widely practiced. Last 2 to 3 parts, please mark this. Unlike that time, there were guilds. Please mark what are occupational guilds. Guilds, guilds means a group. Today, in commerce or economics language, we call them organizations, groups, trade unions. Too much. This is called as these are guilds. Guilds were basically several trade guilds had come up. Metal workers, potters, blacksmiths, carpenters, silversmiths, goldsmiths, engineers, corn dealers. All these were come together as guilds. Basically, you're a part of the goldsmith clan. You're a part of the silversmith clan. Just like today, you're a part of the doctor ka clan. Today, we don't call them guilds. Today, they are called as associations. But their rules and regulations used to apply to all. For example, one common today used language is doctors wear what color code? White. Why? Do they like? No, it's their rule of the association. वो time पे guild का जो भी rule था, you have to follow. Lawyers wear what type of code? Black. Why? Because the association tells them the law. Like that, उस time पे goldsmiths, potters, silvers, whatever the rules were for your guild, you have to follow. You stay united, so you form a guild so that no one can exploit. Guilds were basically groups. Guilds used to carry out the welfare activities and services of many kinds. One more, Urayur was a very known bell center for cotton. Yeah. Social classes. Now let's speak about society. The Sangam age had caste system and tribal system side by side. There were division between, as we mentioned before, high born and the low born. Examples of the high born were the Brahmins. The beginning of the caste system can be made out within the Brahmin household, and the others remained mainly classless. So at that time, the classification used to be either you're a Brahmin or a non-Brahmin. See, look here, the classification was mainly based on Brahmin, while the others remained casteless. It doesn't matter whichever lower you are, either you're Brahmin, if you're Brahmin, fantastic. You're at the top, otherwise you're somewhere in the today it is not so prevalent, but at that time it was very, very, very क्या बोलते हैं cruel and strong. Yes, which is much better. And that time here you'll see there were mainly 4 castes. Name those castes: Brahmins, kings, traders, farmers, ignoring most of the other names of the people. This is mentioned in the Tolka PM. Yeah, that is Brahmins, kings, traders, farmers. ये English में लिखा है कि we are saying the same thing in Kshatriya means a king. Middle class means traders and farmers. Learn about little Brahmins. Please mark. The Brahmins were the most respected and learned community. They performed their caste duties How do you pronounce it? Scrupulously. Scrupulously means honestly. They were also given the judicial, or occasionally they were judicial officers of the king, as well as priests and astrologers. Middle class, which you asked. The middle class was divided into two parts. Here, both Vaishyas and Velalas. No, it was just basically how to say upper middle class and lower. The Vaishyas were assigned with the same duties of learning, sacrifice, gifts, agriculture, protection of your cows, and so on. But what were the Velalas? Velalas were also doing the same, but underlining the word there, they were landed aristocrats, landed landowners, basically, owners. So they'll do the same thing what you and I are doing. Middle class will do the same thing, but I am a richer middle class because I have land. तो वेलालास के उधर लिखो अपर मिडिल क्लास लोअर अरे at the moment I'm teaching you middle class lower middle class lower middle class में what was the difference they had land with themselves the others were so poor that they couldn't even afford land so they used to work on someone else's land. These three Vaishyas and Velalas were there in all of the three kingdoms Cheras, Cholas, and Pandyas. Velalas, who were the kind of the lower middle class, were assigned the same duty. Can you see the same duties which the Vaishyas are doing? Agriculture, trade, worship, making gifts. The activities are same here. But the difference was, as I marked in green, Velalas were landed aristocrats. Aristocrats means landowners. I'm doing the same thing, you're doing the same thing, but I'm doing it on a much higher level because I have my own land. You don't even have your own land. You have to come and work on my land. Basically, upper middle class and lower middle class. Activities are the same. So if you want, mark them in this. They both were the same. Make an arrow and write same. It is just the class difference, subclass. There were some more names which were given. Ordinary plowmen were called as Uzwar. And the landless workers who didn't even have any land were called as Kadasiar or Adimai. These are MCQs for names, please. Little complicated, but you have to learn these names. Last main aspect. This is the last main heavy wala answer. After this, the answers are very similar. The whole area of the Sangam age was divided into 5 categories. How many? 5. Please learn the names. Hilly backwoods, parched zones, pastoral tracts, wetland, and littoral land. The entire South India was divided into 5 land categories. English would be sufficient. If your school wants to make the paper difficult, they'll give you the bracket. Usually, Englishes are the sufficient. Let's learn. This has come in your paper. Please mark short. On each type of land, what activity happens, you need to know. Please mark this answer short. What was the occupation on each type of land which the people were residing? In hilly areas, what was your main occupation? In hilly areas, your main occupation was hunter-gatherers. Hilly people used to do hunter-gathering. Was Parched zones was P for parched, P for plunderers. Parched zones means barren land. Now, if you are living on barren land, what is your job? You didn't have any work. So you were either a plunderer, cattle lifter, basically you were a chore. Pastoral land, if you're agricultural land, pastoral means agricultural land, you would do agriculture and animal husbandry. Wetlands, you'll do agriculture again. Wetlands means little better lands near rivers and all. And littoral lands where rivers and all would go inside, you would do fishing and salt extraction. These were the different works which were available to the people depending upon the land which they lived in. If you didn't have any of this, but you had other skills, you could also be a goldsmith, blacksmith, potterer, and you could join one of the guilds. Please confirm this answer is short. They ask you, either they'll give you the occupation and tell you the type of land, or they'll give you the type of land and ask you the occupation. Last one, marriage. The concept of marriage, which is there today also, has been there since the very old. Aryans introduced the concept of marriage. Basically, yes, there were different types of marriages which are there today also. Usually, they don't ask you if the paper wants to be simple. One or two can be sneaked in if she wants to make the paper. They distinguish between, I think you should learn the brackets, please. Yes, let's not. I'll give you the list also, but you should learn. There were different types of marriages, secret marriage and open marriage, just like today also. Arranged and, yeah, court marriage, arranged marriage, love marriage, second marriage, third marriage. That's a type of marriages. Then those were just examples. ऐसा नहीं होता. At that time, as per the Sanskrit literature, there were eight forms of marriage. So three to two I mentioned, one he mentioned. Love marriage, arranged marriage, he mentioned court marriage. That, that is also same. And then there would be which you don't do, please. If I am not wrong, then there would be forced marriage, where you kidnap someone and marry. If I'm not wrong, child marriage. So these are eight. There were basically eight forms of marriage. That child. Entertainment, music, dance, animal fightings like cock fighting, goat fighting was popular. आज भी होता है villages. Today also they gamble a lot on animals, that is goat fighting and cock fighting. It's basically a mode of gambling. They put money on gambling, wrestling. Sometimes wrestling would result in the death of the one of the contestants, which was very common. Children played various games. Food, these are repeated: grains, meat, fish, vegetables. Cooked fish with piping hot curry was equally valued. Appam or rice cake is in milk was a luxury. Yeah, no rice cake, but in appam or rice cake in milk. In milk, it's a type of food. Either the source. Grain was husked in hollows, made in ground, and converted into flakes. These are all the different foods which South India used to have at that. Clothing, usually 2 to 3 pieces of cloth. That is upper t-shirts and jeans that we wear today. Women used to wear corsets, hair paste. Ornaments were worn by both men and women. Children used to wear necklaces or teeth of tiger. The status of women, which is studied in chapter 2 also, Vedic period, chapter 3, were not equal to men at that time. There were 2 to 3 types of women. You could choose what type of women you wanted to be. Married women who had settled down for their husbands and had children and run their family. Females who belonged to Buddhist or Jain tradition didn't get married at all. There, there were freedom of women in politics. These were which one? Jain traditions had Kundi, Adigal, and Mani Meghalaya. These were 3 types of Jain tradition women. Some of them of the South India, now these were the educated women. They had knowledge of politics. They were advisors of court. They were basically high level women. They could choose their life partners. However, women at that time enjoyed a lot of freedom in society, could become, there were women poets also of that age. You could become a writer also. That time, yet this was not considered as equality. The life of widows was miserable. Yeah, this was not equal. Sati was very prevalent even in the higher strata of the society. Even if you were rich, but if your husband died, Sati. The worship of Patini, please mark, this is goddess. She's a very famous worship of Kanagi or Patini was the chaste lady. South India में today also this goddess is worshipped a lot. If you've been to South India, you will realize worship of Kanagi or Patini, which is chaste lady, basically pure goddess of purity. She was a goddess of purity. Her story is also there. How did she become basically so like worship? Was because her husband, if I'm not wrong, was wrongly accused and killed. So she fought against God, and that's when and that's because of her bravery and her dedication to fight God and the king of that time. That your king, you are although king, you have wrongly accused by husband and killed him. She came to be known as the chaste lady, basically someone who loved her husband a lot. Purity. She was so pure that even the king and the god had to accept her rebellion. Yeah. He boss, okay, there was something which has happened wrong. He's the goddess of chastity, purity. But she fought against it. It's an entirely understand. I could just portray it in a 1 or 2 sentence, which might not be completely accurate. There's an entire story behind. But South India says that today also she's a very renowned. Yes. Some more writers, please mark. This is just for your reference. Achieve 2 great rulers, achievements of Saint Gutuam. The Saint Gutuam was the king. Saint Gutuam was the king. Basically, his expansion, Saint Gutuam from South India went all the way to North India till to the Himalayas to conquer. How the North Indians used to come from north to south? These leaders went from south to north. Yes, I'll come to that 1 second. That was written by Ilanganu. Patini cult, that is the worship of Kanagi, was started by Saint Gutuam. One more ruler, Saint Gutuam was from Chola. Sorry, Saint Gutuam was from Chera. Chola ruler, achievements of Karikalan. Karikalan was also a great ruler of the Chola Empire. He fortified the city of Puhar, built a dam there, which is across the Kaveri River. You study about the Kaveri River. He was a great and a popular warrior. Yeah. Krishna, sorry, Lifeline, yes. And these are all name the followings. Please mark only to study from name the following. Author of Tolka PM is Tolka Pierre. Two gods who were worshipped. Wait. Two gods who were worshipped were Vishnu and Murugan. You can write that also. Shiva also you can write. कैसे ये तो मैंने दो ही दिया. There were many more. You can write. Sangam literatures at that time. Name the following again. Silpa, Karikaram, Mani Meghalaya, Sivaga, Sidamini. These were all books, epics of the South India. Two Chola rulers, as per this, were Sengutuam, you studied. Dendu Jeral, if you want to learn, or Udayan Jeral. Again, all these are named the followings. Who was the greatest of the Chola ruler? Karikalan. Name the name what did Chera produce in large quantity? Buffaloes, jackfruit, pepper. Yeah. And oldest South Indian Dravidian language, Tamil. And two archaeological sources, megaliths and inscriptions in the Brahmini script. So instead of that, yes. No, archaeological. Listen, archaeological means something which is available. This finishes your Sangam age quick revision.